Right, well here we are again. Hello internet, Jazza here. The other day, I was just being nice and polite, sauntering through my Instagram DMs, when I received this message, which was, unwanted, and why? This made me so angry, but brilliant at the same time. I've made videos about body confidence twice before. Once when I had a more conventional build and I probably objectively had fewer things to worry about. Another time when I had put on weight and I was trying to put across a message that people should be okay with not being okay with their bodies. And now I'm making another one where this is what I look like. Hey, and I can say I don't feel like I look any worse or better than I did in those videos, and I couldn't care less, to be frank, because that message that some asshole sent me on Instagram, for the first time ever, when somebody has mentioned the way that I look and my weight, I couldn't give two fucks. I really do not care what you think. And that goes for all of you who are watching. If you even think about posting those kinds of things to creators that you watch online, how fucking dare you? My body is not for you to comment on. My body is not for you. I talk about politics and queer education. At what point did I ask you guys to objectify me? I didn't. And that's why this message, pissed me off. Where's your right to talk to me like that? I am a gay guy, and that culture is still obsessed with hairless, tanned, well-defined torsos and bodies. As a pale, non-defined, weirdly, oddly hairy person, I do not adhere to those things. And the amount of times that I've had people on dating apps, and yeah, sure, I use dating apps, what of it? The amount of people who've gone like, oh no, sorry, I'm only into defined guys. And that's happened to me so often now that I'm like, well, it's literally your loss because I'm really good at the sex. The last time I made this video, it was really difficult for me because I was in such a bad place myself about my body. But you know what? Now I'm I am strong and I have endurance and my body is goddamn useful. And all of these years of trying to kid myself, faking it until I made it, convincing myself that all I cared about was having a useful body, I feel like I'm finally really close to that. And for anybody who is, any young, especially gay guys, but any young guys who are going through issues of not having one of those perfectly muscular, ripped bodies, there is a point where you will not give a shit anymore. And you'll be proud of the body that you have, because this may not end up in a double-page spread, but it fucking works. I swim faster than the vast majority of you fuckers, and I can deadlift for days, and I am so proud of that I've done that with this body. And fuck you if it's not pleasing to you. It's not here to please you. This is a particularly poignant topic for me to talk about on the internet, because I went through some shit when I was younger. As a teenager, I was anorexic. I wouldn't eat in order for me to lose body fat, and I used to make myself sick. I was bulimic as well. We are in an age where mental health and mental illness can be talked about way more freely, but especially with dudes, eating disorders are not talked about. And I was so unhappy with the body I had, I used to put it through hell. And for a really long time, it was so difficult Like it was like whenever I ate a little bit too much and you feel like a bit queasy, to stop myself from throwing myself up was like from throwing stuff up was a really hard thing for me to do. And if you are I'm 28 now. Like I am pretty much, I feel old, and it breaks my heart that young guys who feel the same way about their bodies are going through that same conflict that I did. And I just want you to know that the way you feel about your body is gonna be fucking tough. But I honestly, I didn't think that I would get to this point in the way that I felt about my body. But there is hopefully going to be a point where you realize that people have and can find you sexy. You're going to come to a point where the way that your body looks does not denote how brilliant it is, how fast it can run, although I still hate running, how fast it can swim, how high it can climb, how far it can jump. Like, this is an awesome unit. And like, whatever, I've got a bit of punch. One of the hardest things like I did in the past few weeks on Instagram is post this photo where if you Photoshop it correctly, I look like the top of a snail. But you know what? Fuck it. And to that guy on Instagram who told me, who was kind enough to point out that I put on a few kilos. Thank you so much for making me realise that I do not give a shit about what you think about all of this. I still can dance. Ooh. When I was a young kid and dealing with bulimia and anorexia, I didn't ask for help from anybody. Don't be like me, because it's taken me over a decade and a half to, I think, to get through it to a point where I feel like I have a healthy relationship with my body and my food now. If you have any problems with this and you need somebody to talk to, I'll leave some links down in the description box below. For goodness sake, like, just someone to talk to, man. It helps. It really helps. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Jazza. Occasionally I get angry at stuff and make videos about it. Subscribe if you like the idea of that. Occasionally I tell a joke or two. This wasn't overly funny, was it? Something I'd like you to know as well, this is like part of my job now. I do this like as an income. The thing is, whenever you make videos about controversial but important topics like this, like I talk about politics, terrorism, gender stuff, body confidence and eating disorders, YouTube decides to demonetize that content because it isn't seen as advertiser friendly. A way that I'm trying to ensure that this is still a viable thing for me to do is I have a Patreon where people can donate whatever they want per month. I already have a load of really amazing people who donate to me. They're scrolling across the bottom here. Check out my Patreon. See if this is a community that you'd like to be part of. YouTube thinks that you will like this video of mine. It's probably very saucy, or not. Also subscribe here. God, that got me riled up. Fun!